I had to like pull over and cry because I couldn't see. I was crying so hard, but it was such a moment. Like, you never forget the first time you hear your song on the radio. Hey, I'm Maren Morris, and these are my firsts for NME. The first artist I fell in love with was probably Sheryl Crow. You know, my mom had such great music taste, still does. We would get to hear everything she was listening to in the back seat of the car when she was driving, and this was the era of All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun era of Sheryl, and I just remember falling in love with her voice and how fun that song was, and she just has had a chokehold on me ever since. The first CD I ever bought with my own money, I went to CD Warehouse and I bought the Cardigans' First Band on the Moon album. And obviously this was the 90s and I was a child when this album came out, but I loved Loveful, their big hit, but then I just became obsessed with them and all of their records ever since. But that was my first CD I bought with my own money. The first band t-shirt I owned, I feel like it was that band, I don't think they're around anymore, but it was like this girl group called All Saints, and they had this song called Never Ever, and I'm pretty sure I begged my mom to get me their merch. It was either that or it was like a Spice Girls t-shirt. The first tattoo I ever got was when I was 18, and I got this hummingbird on my wrist, and I've just always loved hummingbirds, and there's actually a song on my new record called Hummingbird, and it's just it's like a bird that's always followed me. I've always been obsessed with them and fascinated by them, and yeah, that was my first ever tattoo. First job I had was as a receptionist for my parents' hair salon, and my mom is a hairdresser and my dad kind of runs the shop, and it's named after my sister and I. So that was my first job, was answering phones, keeping hairdressers' calendars together, like cleaning the product shelves, learning what all the products did. So yeah, it was definitely my first and last job in customer service. The first band I was in, I've always done my own thing, but I did join this like quartet electro pop punk band when I was 18 called They Were Stars, and we made really good music actually, so not cringed out by that whatsoever. I loved them, and I was just obsessed with that type of music in high school, so I got to like learn how to play synthesizer and wear like cute latex dresses on stage and be like a rock chick in Deep Ellum, Texas. The first gig I went to was a LeAnn Rimes concert at a restaurant in Texas, and it was very intimate and sold out very quickly, and my mom got us a table at the front, and it was magical because I'm obsessed with LeAnn Rimes. The first festival I went to, I'm not quite sure. A lot of like Texas country music festivals that I would like play in. There's one in Texas that I think they still do called the Larry Joe Taylor Festival. And there's a ton of like amazing Americana and Texas Red Dirt artists that play it and were discovered there. And I think that was like my first actual festival I went to. The first song I finished writing, I mean, it was probably terrible. I think I was like 9 or 10, and I think it was called like Living in the Moment, and it was super cheesy, but you have to write that first one and get it off your chest. The first live gig I ever played, I was 10 years old, and I played at this saloon called the White Elephant Saloon in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's a historic, like, over 100-year-old saloon that is very like that prequel to Yellowstone vibes, like steer. They're doing like fake gunfights in the street, reenactments. But yeah, that was like my first actual gig, was in that bar. The first time I heard my song on the radio, I think I was on my way to like Walmart or something. I was picking up my contacts, and it was snowing out, and I was in Nashville, and I was on my way to Walmart, and they started introducing my song My Church, which was my first single, and I had to like pull over and cry because I couldn't see. I was crying so hard, but it was such a moment. Like, you never forget the first time you hear your song on the radio. The first thing I do when I get off stage after a show is go back to my bus and like wipe off, because I'm usually drenched in sweat, and I kind of just have a moment of quiet, or like 10 minutes to myself, because you're burning off like so much energy in the show and giving it so much that you like need a moment of peace. And then I call my husband if he's not there with me, and then I go and hang out with my band in the vibe room, and we just hang out for a few hours and then go to bed. We're pretty old now, so we don't party like we used to. The first thing I am going to do after my album is released, I think I'm going to be celebrating the whole week, because these songs have been done for over a year, and so to finally put it out, it feels like giving birth. And I can say that because I have given birth, and this is crowning. So I'm going to celebrate and have a cocktail. Thanks for watching my firsts on NME. Hope you enjoyed it.